Introverts of Reddit. What social interaction makes your battery down to 0% immediately? When you're at a party where everyone else knows each other. I hate going to parties where I know one, maybe two people. You want to interact with them, but don't want to follow them around like a little puppy dog because I don't want to talk to anyone else. Definitely when you can't get your words into a conversation. You make an honest effort to be more outward, but people talk over you and you just give up. Especially when you actually have something to contribute in that 30-minute conversation that has gone by, but everyone won't shut up, so you wait patiently for your turn, but you sit inwardly crying because they've changed topics twice now and there's no way to go back and say your piece that might have actually made you interesting. Going along to an event is a +1 in having to make small talk with all my friends' friends. Let's go around the room and everyone say a little something about themselves. Quote, now everyone get into groups of 2. Asterisk looks around room. Everyone has somehow already partnered up in 10 milliseconds flat. Asterisk. Running into an old friend you've grown distant from. You're like, do we acknowledge each other and have a full-on conversation, or do we just do the head nod and move on? The pretend I didn't see that person works too. Bonus if they also pretend they haven't seen you. Everyone wins. One-on-one interaction where I'm sort of in charge. Anytime I'm leading around a new hire or intern at work and need to take them around all day, take them to lunch, etc. Exhausting. Being on point and being responsible for another person's experience of their day is just so much pressure. That's it for me. 2. New trainee day is the worst. Asterisk there's a stranger. Asterisk I have to interact with them one-on-one. Asterisk all freaking day. Asterisk I genuinely care about them and want them to do well. Asterisk I know that their progress depends on me. At least somewhat. Asterisk, which means I need to do well. Asterisk but SRSLY when it's halfway through the shift and I need a break. Am I doing my best? Asterisk training is usually followed up by a one-on-one meeting with a supervisor about the trainee and their progress. Asterisk please just let me crawl into a beer. Your bullet point game is on point. Sorry. Office team buildings. Any employment-related fun. That's mandatory fun, mister. While it's completely voluntary, you still better have your ass there. Anything after work. Work is draining enough. I don't understand how people make plans after work. School. I run home to eat and sleep. Why are you shy? Why don't you talk? Thanks for the awards. You don't say much, do you? Are you not happy today? OMGIDKY, but hearing you don't say much, do you, from someone is so freaking condescending to me. I hate that. Like, excuse me? And you don't shut the fuck up for once. Do you ever met someone who feels like every second of silence needs to be filled with small talk? I don't have much to say because nothing needs to be said. Jim. Maybe stop talking to people who you feel you have to force a conversation with. Mess. Greater than I don't have much to say because nothing needs to be said. This. Exactly this. Shit gets fucking annoying. Seriously, I have always talked when I had something to say in PPL. Especially family act like I don't talk. I just wanna move away to other side of the world and not have contact sometimes. Lol. You're so quiet. What's wrong? Ugh. This is along the same lines of, you should smile more, it can't be that bad. Quote, unexpected people at a gathering. Or many people coming and going. My in-laws seem to always have lots of random people living with them. And you truly never know who's going to be at their house until you walk in the door. I can't prepare myself if I don't know how many, which people I can expect to see. My mill also tends to bring random people with her when invited over. Well, they were at the house when we left and they wanted to come too. I hate having unexpected strangers in my house. It instantly takes away the feeling of it being my safe zone. Probably not surprising that I don't invite my in-laws over very often. And it's extremely rare that I go to their house. They wanted to come too, because Mill invited them. told them it would be fine, and that you have a more the merrier attitude. Barf. In that it would be fun. Turns out it's completely awkward. You're pissed off, stressed and uncomfortable. The guest, it is uncomfortable. And Mill is oblivious. Hey, let's get a drink. You and me. Sure. At the pub. Oh, when I said, just you and me, I actually meant you. Me and my friend from uni that you don't know, but with whom I go way back, and we'll talk all night while ignoring you. And then I'll fuck off for an extra long piss, leaving you two alone to the conversational equivalent of a hedgehog fucking a tortoise. Going to any store when it's packed. If I see a store or restaurant that is too crowded, I just leave immediately. I just refuse to deal with that. Work. Customer service has made my skin crawl since day one, but it pays the bills. That's awful. Do you have to deal with phone calls? My social anxiety doesn't let me pick up phones with unknown numbers. I had the same problem until, what if it's someone you know who's lost their phone, and your number is the only one they remember? My friend had her handbag stolen while shopping. Got security who let use the office to call someone to pick her up. Her dad's was the only number she knew by heart. He didn't pick up because he didn't recognize the number. She was a tad upset. Didn't leave a voicemail. We have such a problem with robocalls. Everyone should realize that leaving a voicemail will usually result in an immediate callback. At least for me. How's school going? Quote. Honorable mention goes to, do you have a girlfriend yet? Quote. Edit. Whoever gave me the gold. Thanks, my guy. I am focusing on finishing school right now. I'll get a GF after. Meanwhile, the reality is that you're doing shit in school and you got no game. When the really sweet, fast-talking 13-year-old girl across the street sees me out front and comes over with yet another little bracelet she has made for me. I don't hear well. In addition to being an introvert, and her chirpy little voice is incomprehensible, I don't want to be rude to her and would not hurt her feelings for anything in the world. But don't want to be her grandma, so it's very stressful. Kids are usually very receptive if you just explain what your problem is. I'm sure if she's sweet enough to make you bracelets, then they'll happily understand if you explain your hearing issue. I did explain to her about my hearing. She spoke slightly louder, but still fast and with that high-pitched voice that young girls have. I think that in time, I can help her to understand. Being able to hear involves not only how loudly someone speaks, but the tone of their voice. I understand men a lot better because my loss mostly involves upper register sounds. Family gatherings. Funny you mentioned that. I'm currently on vacation. My grandma is having a birthday get-together this evening with about 16 other family members I don't really know and only briefly talk to every 3 to 4 years. I've already spent the last hour in my room and I'll probably be spending more time in here when people start arriving. One-sided conversations. The first moment they talk over me or interrupt and don't, sorry, I interrupted, what were you saying? Me. My battery drains instantly. Arguments can drain me from 100% to 0 real fast. Confrontation in general I would say is my arch nemesis. It's even worse when it's a pointless one. Helpful advice that is really just a bunch of judgments of your life choices in disguise. Also, any conversation where someone starts suggesting an essential oil blend will solve all my problems. It would have taken less effort to just say, all interactions with my mother-in-law. I used to have acne, like a normal teenager, and everyone tried to help me. I never asked for help. Having to engage in small talk really wears me down. Like 2 sentences in and I'm exhausted. I love deep conversations, but small talk just kills my soul. Greater than small talk. Been looking for this. Especially when it is an extrovert that can't stand silence. Car ride with them are so draining because you are essentially trapped. And since they can't have silence, it is a constant conversation. Dude, if you drain all my energy, we're going to crash. Large parties or anywhere with booming music and drunk people. Yes, I can handle groups just fine, but all this loud music and the shouting gets me in 10 minutes. Loud bars. 2. Why does the music have to be so loud that you have to shout at the person next to you? It becomes a volume competition between drunk people and music. And I gotta get out of there ASAP. Loud bars always confuse me. Like, if that's the kind of experience you want, go to a club. It's this weird middle ground that I just cannot understand. Going to places and then more people being there than I expected. Just a couple days ago I had plans for me and 2 friends to just chill at my house. And somehow I got roped into going somewhere else with 5 or 6 people. I spent most of the time hanging back on my phone. Anywhere where there is loud noise or a lot of noise. Listening to someone boast. Being on the receiving end of an extrovert monologuing. In a social situation where I need to play along, be friendly, and engaged for whatever reason. So why are you so quiet? Quote. Being taken to a club party where I know no one. If the extrovert is actually interesting, I find this works in my favor because I get it interesting story and they love me for just listening while they do all the social heavy lifting. But when they're airheads who just run their mouth, let's just say I have an app that lets me call myself so I can say I have to take this call and leave. IFTT if you want the app. Malls. I hate malls. I'm an introvert that likes malls. I feel like there's a lot of interesting stuff to look at. Hate malls too. So crowded and teenagers are usually hang out there in groups. They are sometimes so loud and trashy and I get flashbacks. High school flashbacks are the worst. Going to Walmart. Specifically Walmart and only Walmart. That place drains my very soul. I can go in happy, energetic, and social and leave wanting to slit my wrists in the parking lot while yelling at whoever was unlucky enough to come with me. There is this horrible frantic energy at Walmart that puts me on total alert. I think a big part of it is the hellish fluorescent lighting and sad vinyl flooring. Then of course you've got 20 billion shopping carts, strollers, and mobility scooters to dodge. And then the thing you need that is supposedly in stock is nowhere to be found because fuck you. We're Walmart. And when you finally get to the checkout area, there are 15 people trying to use expired coupons. And there's only one self-checkout kiosk that keeps screaming unexpected item in the bagging area. And all you wanted was some hair gel and frozen waffles, but no, your mom's all, let's just go to Walmart. It's closer, and that's how you found yourself in the 9th circle of hell. First day of a new school. Like your new college classes, and you have to stand up and say your name and what superpower you'd have if you could. The ability to make you skip me, he said in his head. I travel a lot in my work, and it often includes staying in a remote city for 2 to 3 days. Doing full work days at customers' facility. Then coming back home. My survival technique are hotels. I find them calming as they're like airports. You've seen one. You've seen most of them, monsieur. I get sent to a remote facility, but the customer's liaison guy invites me to their home instead. I politely decline and try all the excuses in the book, but he's not taking no for an answer. Eventually he starts to get insulted and my boss tells we kinda need this deal and asks me to go. After the flight I get picked up and we do a full day at the facility. Then we go to the guy's house. They have 2 children, who are hyper and think I'm there to play with them. Monsieur, I try my best to show happy face, but internally my battery has already dry for a long time. Finally the kids go somewhere and I think I have some time off. But now the guy offers me a beer. Okay. I tell him I've been trying to distance myself from alcohol. But he still drinks couple beers and becomes annoyingly talkative. At this point I'm screaming internally. It's at around 21 and I see this as a good time to go. It's been a long day. I think I'll go check my mail and stuff and go to sleep, and head upstairs, which has my room, monsieur. I hear them talking. The wife is telling the guy that I might see them as bad hosts if he leaves me alone. The husband, however, wants to drink more beer. So the wife comes up. To my horror, I have absolutely nothing in common with her. She starts talking about their kids and goes on for over half an hour of oversharing details about their life, while my brain has already frozen from the whole situation. Finally, I get to sleep and I get woken up over an hour before my time, as apparently the family has super long breakfast where they just slowly eat and chat about stuff. I have zero energy left from previous day and just stare into the void, while the whole family watches a stupid cartoon and they deeply analyze what's going on in it. I was supposed to have 2 to 3 more days of this, but I call my boss when I get a break and tell him I can't take this anymore. He now realizes I'm not joking and arranges an emergency job for the next day. So after the second day is done, we agree that the finishing touches will be done remotely now that the hardware is installed, and after the day I finally head back to the airport. My host is noticeably upset, and on the way to the airport he tells me he had their relatives coming tonight and he had hoped we could have done something together. **TL. Doctor, to answer the ops question, my internal social interaction battery shorts and dies if I don't get a hotel for multi-day on-site jobs. **. I would pummel my boss if he insisted I stay at some stranger's house for a job. I don't care if they're a client. They're unfamiliar to me and it's weird. That seems like it would be draining for people who aren't even introverts. Thank you so much for watching and have a good day.